Hello there, snacks. Subscribe and watch the intro. Or skip this part. Hello world, hello viewers, welcome. Today I wanted to do something that I have not done before. I wanted to talk about things that are probably interesting for Doom fans, as you probably don't see, but I'm actually a Doom fan and I totally did not make Doom videos before. Yeah, virtually every video contained Doom gameplay. I'm totally not a Doom fan, but actually I am. It's one of the best games in the universe. And no, not because I'm a psychopath that likes to dismember enemies with a chainsaw. I actually genuinely like how they designed everything, the whole sci-fi stuff. I don't even need guts everywhere on my face or something. By the way, I wanted to talk about how to make Doom Eternal better, how to increase something in Doom Eternal. It's already a pretty perfect game, but I've wanted to talk about how to maybe, let's say, enhance Doom Eternal. Was there a cool cut here? Was there a cool scene or something? I wanted to have a cool background stuff. Right now, in a few seconds, you will stop seeing my face because, not because I will put this thing on my face, but actually because there will be a montage of stuff that will look quite cool actually. So sorry for that intro. At some point you will not see my face because there will be cool gameplay. I actually have found ways to make gameplay in the background looking quite cool. So I'm standing up for this because it's probably easier. I feel like a dog on a chain because my cable is keeping me close to my computer. Anyway, so the thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm looking in OBS, this looks kind of creepy. I'm so sorry, I'll make the point. The thing that I wanted to talk about is how could I enhance Doom Eternal? How could this game become even better? So, as you might know, I actually am, to some certain extent, a bit of someone who can create stuff in some tools or something. Yeah, I like to make things, but I'm not, of course, someone who could make a game like Doom Eternal. I can play it. Can't even do that properly, but I can try to play it. And by the way, no, I'm not a hypocrite, but I haven't bought this game, but I've played it, and it's great, and I will play it, and I'll play all the DLCs and make tons of videos about it, and hopefully get 1 trillion followers or something. But the point is, when I'm playing this game, I feel like it's actually something that is a basic game. You know, when you're talking about FPS games, you see differences. You say stuff like Call of Duty and Doom, and you probably think, yeah, why? I mean, these things are kind of different. They're not the same game. They're widely different. And in fact, I would break this down and deconstruct this to basically two basic concepts of game. Basically, two basic concepts of games. So in FPS games, at least. So there are games like Call of Duty that are trying to show you some type of depiction of reality, where you have a gun with attachments and you can look through the sight and sprint around, with all these basic features that are basically a depiction of reality. So in real life you can run, if you're not like me, but I don't like to run. So in Doom, you're basically moving with, I don't know, 60 miles an hour or something without even needing a car or something. So Doom guy, I think someone has calculated this runs with, I think, something like a few hundred kilometers per hour or something, which is quite cool, without even sprinting, which is still faster than when in Call of Duty you press the sprint button where you feel like a snail on drugs or something. Like a snail on speed. Anyway, should probably cut this thing. I shouldn't use the D word, the drug word. So, anyway, the point is, Doom is one of these games that if you would keep developing it to some point where it's like Call of Duty, it wouldn't be Doom anymore. Obviously, the first Doom games, someone could say, were like the basic first-person shooter games, but of course, they also had soul, they also had some type of style, development that made them special. They gave them something that was unique. It was a unique gameplay. If you would keep developing them further and further, you would get something like Doom 2016, not like something that was apparently like the cancelled sequel. They made something that should be Doom 4 and it was too much like Call of Duty or something. And I've seen some gameplay where they had a ACOG thing, ACOG, how do you pronounce it? Or I could cancel if I say that word. So that sight, that like real life sight on the gun, and it looked kind of strange. I'm not sure if this would have been cool. Of course, I'd like to see these assets. If they have some playable build, it would be cool to try it out. But I like Doom 2016 because it's like the original Doom, but with better graphics and a few additional features. And then, of course, they came up with Doom Eternal, and I tried it. And when I first pressed the left button here on my keyboard, I mean, everything in Doom Eternal is basically bound to my keyboard. My keyboard is full with key bindings in that game. not my keyboard, but the keyboard of the person who played this game. So when I pressed it, it felt surprisingly good, surprisingly crisp. I didn't expect that someone could make a dash function in an FPS game in a good way. I mean, I've tried the Forge on computer thing, the Forge on PC, basically, that's what I'm trying to say here, from Halo 5. And they have these micro dash functions, and when you master them, when you know how to do them, they can help you, but they're kind of cosmetic. They don't do a lot. It doesn't feel like it's like changing the world or something. Whereas in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and yes, I have also played this game because sci-fi, I had to play it, the dash function was also kind of strange to me. It was weird. It was interesting, but it was also weird. And in Doom Eternal, for some reason, they managed to give this a feeling of, I don't know, the feeling that you get when you see Hans Zimmer making music, like in an orchestra or something. That's probably a weird example, but maybe you know what I mean, or maybe not. Probably not. So I thought, how could this game be even better? So when I played it, I realized that everything on my keyboard was bound to some function. So when I was pressing some random button, it did like throw a grenade, black hole, something. So it was kind of crazy, quite fun. But I realized I of course had some ideas what they could put into Doom. I don't want to say that I have a full concept and even some sketches of a game how I would make it. Oh, by the way, I'd like to make games someday with a team, probably, maybe, so it's not completely pointless that I'm talking here. Anyway, I had some ideas, and I realized that the way how they developed Doom Eternal was kind of logic, because they had still this basic gameplay, and instead of giving it some sprint function or something, they simply gave them this dash function, which is actually quite nice, because it's kind of basic. I mean, you're moving left and right, and they're going left and right and everything, and you're moving faster left and right. This really helps. And when you play a snap map in Doom 2016, yeah, by the way, Doom 2016 snap map, revive it. It needs a lot of players. Keep this thing alive. It's really crazy. It's like it's Second Dawn. It aged so well. I mean, in 2020, people are making crazy maps there. It's really, really cool. And they're adding functions. The dash function in Doom 2016 feels like it actually fits in this game when it was actually introduced in Doom Eternal, but you can make this in snap map, and when you play it in snap map, it really, really fits with the gameplay perfectly. So this is really nice, I think. Of course, I'm not a fan of double jumps, because double jumps are like not creative. I like triple jumps. So subscribe anyway, please. So the point is, how could they enhance the game? This is what I actually wanted to say. So at first, I think the option to have a slide function or something would be quite fun. So in Doom 2016, when you were pressing the C button, the teabag button, or the twerk button, as I like to call it, because I'm a perverted swine, it's kind of useless, because you could try to implement it in your gameplay and evade the enemy shots, but it doesn't work because you're still not small enough. So most cases I get hit. Maybe it's me being incompetent, but I think probably the game is made like this. So I thought if they would implement this to a next game, or maybe Doom Eternal, or DLC, or any next Doom game, something, Doom, whatever will come after Eternal, maybe Doom Infinite or something, if they are very creative. So fun fact, if you watch this in the future, it's 2020, you know, we got a lot of games that are called Infinite. There is Bioshock Infinite, there is Halo Infinite, which is going to be released, I think, next year or something, if they release it anyway. So in this case, I thought it would be cool to have a slide function. I've seen gameplay of the game Ghost Runner, I think it's called. I always thought it was Cyberpunk 2077, and then I realized it's not the same game. I'm a noob, sorry. But they're both these Cyberpunk games, and it's actually Ghost Runner. However it's called, it's is it called Ghost Runner? I don't know how it's called. I should probably research this anyway. It's actually a game that looks cool, and this slide function of this game looked really cool. I thought in Doom Eternal it would be quite fun to slide and be super close to the ground to actually evade the enemy shots and still be able to move fast in somewhat a bit of a different way of the normal gameplay. As an optional feature, not as a feature you have to use, but as an optional feature, it would be quite fun, I think. Especially when you can overrun enemies and kick them to death by doing this. I'd also like to have a button to kick enemies just because I like kicking enemies. I've seen this in many games. I've seen this in Serious Sam, I think, and it's so satisfying. I can't tell you, I don't know why, but I think in Bulletstorm or something, when you go and kick the enemies. I think there's even a function in Rage 2 or something that can do something like this. And in Doom 2016 there's a glitch when you press the buttons together for the weapon switching, then you can actually get an animation when you're holding the BFG to kick enemies. That's actually quite fun. It's also a bit of a cheat because you can glory kill them faster or something. It's like a glory kill. Different topic is another video. So I'd like to have a kick function because fun, because reasons. Having an option to see my legs in the game wouldn't be bad, especially in a game where you jump around. I mean, let's not start making arguments up here. I actually simply like the idea of being able to see my games in, no, to see my legs in games that way, yeah. So these are some like small changes or something. When I'm thinking about the grenade launcher, I mean, it's nice to have that thing, but for some reason it's so weird that there's like a third arm that comes to my head or something. I think it would be so cool to give the Doomslayer simply demonic abilities, to do literally the same thing that the flamethrower does, but with his hand. I'd like to have the texture of the demonic slayer, but only on his left arm, and then throwing flames at enemies. I mean, let's be honest, this would be kind of badass, wouldn't it be? I think it would be badass. And also the throwing of the grenades. People, there was a grenade that sucks health from your enemies to you in Doom 2016. Why isn't it the soul cube? Why can we not have the soul cube in the game? It would be quite cool. I mean, we have seen it in 2016 in the thing where I think that room where the man cave, it's not the man cave, of Samuel Hayden, that giant robot that apparently probably was a small human, but he turned into a robot and now he's kind of weak. So he had the soul cube, so the soul cube is in Doom. It's in that universe, obviously. So I'd like to have it as a gun back because it's so cool. I mean, it's something that I couldn't touch because it has blades and I don't like blades when they're on my hand, but this thing could be thrown at enemies and take their soul from them or something. I think this is how it worked in Doom 3. Doom 3 was a cool game. It actually gave me PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder? I think disorder, yeah. So maybe the next game could be called Doom Disorder or something. Anyway, so it would be quite cool to have this feature in the game, I think. And on the next hand, I think it would be cool to have an option to have all of these weapons in the weapon wheel, in the menu, as an option to have an option. I don't know if this is in the game. If it is in the game, I apologize, but it would be cool to be able to play this game in a classic way. To simply go like, okay, I mean, I know there was not a weapon wheel in the classic game, so that's stupid, but the point that I want to make is I want an option to scroll through these weapons. And then for the chainsaw, in Doom 2016 it was like a bit limited, so I'd like to have one option where I press the button and where it goes at the enemies and simply does melee damage to them. And then when you press the other button, then it does the glory kill, so it takes their soul or something. And they're demons, they probably don't have souls, I don't know how that works, I didn't read the Bible. And I did also not write the Bible, obviously, because I'm not Jesus. Oh, best joke ever, if you get the joke why this was a joke. Anyway, so next, I should delete myself probably. Next point in my list of things is, let's be honest people, I need more shortcut buttons. I mean, my keyboard is already bound, every button is bound with something. I'd even like to have a button that breaths, basically. A breath button, so Doom Guy can breath. That's pointless. So I'd really like to have a shortcut button for the grenade launcher things, for all of these features. You know, there's the grappling hook in the shotgun, and I'd like to have an option to simply either in the options in the menu to bind this thing that you press the button and then he selects the shotgun and can press the button, my trigger button, and then fire. When I release it, then the shotgun gets put away and I have the gun that I had it before. Or a button that selects the shotgun, fires the grappling hook, and then gets deselected. It would be quite fun because it's a unique feature. So, like with all of these weapons that have special features, I'd like to have that option to swap to it and then press a button, or to swap to it and auto press the button with one press of the button. I'd like to have this for all of the weapons. So I can do this with the super shotgun as a grappling hook, while still having to swap to it, but automating it, so I don't have to use my fingers, so it's not complicated. I'd also like to have this for the ballista or the gauss gun in Doom 2016, because I can do these jumps with them. So they have recoil and they kick you a bit. I think the ballista does the same thing, so you can use it to jump, and you can implement it into your gameplay. It's like an advanced rocket jump. I really like this. Sorry, I really like this. It would be cool to have that option. Per default, I would want to have this for the chainsaw, obviously, like it's already in the game. For the grappling hook thing, or meat hook. For the meat hook, sorry, it's a meat hook. It's making meat. No, it's eating meat. It's consuming meat. It's consuming die flesh. Little reference here. So for the BFG, of course, stuff like this. Maybe for some gun that has a weird visual sight thing, some device that gives you some special vision or something. I don't know if this is in the game. And now we basically could go to the next step. I don't know if the people that make these games watch such videos, especially my video will probably not be watched by them, but I wanted this to be out there somewhere on the internet. I might make a better video of this kind. I'd also like to have, from the attachments here, some default secondary fire mode. You have these weapons in the basic mode, and then they sometimes don't have a secondary fire mode. You can't even aim down sights or something. So I'd like to have the normal model, with already some secondary fire mode and then 2 attachments. So it makes sense to press the right mouse button even if you don't have an attachment attached. So you can remove them for cosmetic reasons in Doom Eternal, because in Doom 2016 you couldn't do this, yeah. So you couldn't remove them, I think, probably. I mean, I tried, I didn't find a way to do this, so it was kind of confusing. Maybe it's me. So in the end, it's a really cool thing to be able to remove these things so they look cool. So you can play it in the default way, but I still like to have some right mouse button because I have 2 mouse buttons. And why do I have 2 mouse buttons when I don't use them, right? I also have 2 fingers. Actually not. More than that. Not an octopus. What? So anyway, before I get too confused, I have to infuse my brain with coffee, I think. Some coffee would be really good. So, can you still hear me? Yeah, okay. So, sorry, I had to look in my recording software. This is off the topic here, sorry, pattern interruption. So I hope you like the footage here in the background. Maybe you're listening it without audio, I don't know. Maybe what I say is pointless. Anyway, I'd really like to have either 1 default attachments for all the weapons, like a 3rd attachment basically, that gives me cool vision, like night vision or something, with some additional information that's displayed. I don't mean like boring night vision, I mean like really cool night vision, like augmented reality, where the visuals look different and you could basically play the whole time with this. Or a button key binding. We already have enough key bindings, so I could have 1 more that simply can be pressed, so it gives me some like cool augmented reality thing, like in Ghost Recon Future Soldier or in Black Ops 3 there was this tactic mode thing, something like this. So you can still play with this, but the game looks a bit different while still not looking like green and in night vision, which you can't play for longer than 5 minutes because your eyes will fall out of your head. So before this sounds too strange, I think it would also make sense to probably have, talking about these features, to have all of these things, all of these upgrades that you can collect in a way that you can do these things directly as part of the gameplay. So what I mean is, Doom is a basic game, as I've mentioned before. It's one of these basic, super basic games. I mean, it's so basic that you collect guns and power-ups and everything. And let's be honest, it would be cool to have an option to collect these power-ups and then select them later. It would be like Crisis on steroids or something. I mean, do you have the guns and you select them, and then you could collect these power-ups and then activate them when you want. You would not only have like stealth mode and armor mode, you would simply have quad damage mode and stealth mode. I think there's an invisibility power-up or something, or there should be one at least. In the old games there was. Stuff like that would be quite cool. But anyway, what I'm actually willing to say is, when I'm not messing up the grammar, in this game it would be so super really nice to have an option to have all of these complex rune upgrade systems as part of the game, so I could walk by something, press a button and then immediately get an upgrade. Also these animations that slightly interrupt the gameplay should be faster. I'd like glory kills to be faster, maybe to be able to do a glory kill and while doing the glory kill move a bit, so I could basically drag the demon. And because you're doing it in first person, it would even be that bad. Of course you should probably not end up pushing the demon's body into a wall or something, it would probably look kind of weird, but we could limit this so they have hitbox and stuff like this. So this would work in an open area, you could drag them around just because I want to. And with the upgrades and also the adjustment of the attachments, I'd really like to be able to do this way fast, so I can do this in the gameplay, to play even faster. That's basically what I want. I simply want it to be faster. I don't know if I'm a proper car guy, but if you ask me if I want a car with power, I say yes, and if you ask me if you want a car with even more power, I say yes. If you give me an electric car, I complain that it's too heavy and doesn't accelerate fast enough, and that it's not fast enough in the corners. If you give me an internal combustion engine car, then I still complain that it's not light enough, not fast enough, and not powerful enough. I still complain even if you get me a car powered by demon energy with demon blood injection, probably I would still complain that's not powerful enough. So I think more power, more speed is always a good thing, and this also counts for Doom Eternal, which was probably, I think, compared by Hugo Martin to a sports car. One of these people who made these games, one of these beautiful people who made these games. I think this is what people would say. So before I lose my voice here, which I won't, I like to hear myself talking, as you know. I really like to point out that it would probably make a lot of sense to have underwater levels. I'm not talking about that you have to be able to swim or something. I'd simply like to be able to walk around there only as a cosmetic thing with some hovering and swimming fishes or something. Yeah, something like this. Would also be nice to have some of these multiplayer maps from Doom 2016, but that is a campaign map. So in Doom 2016 they had one of these maps where you could jump around, where you had low gravity, and the audio did sound totally weird, and it was super cool. It felt like in Metroid Prime in the first mission, where you were on this space, yeah, there was this space station where you could walk on the outside around, like in a Star Trek movie or something. This was really, really cool, and I'd like to have this as a setting in a campaign. I could also start talking about skins. It would be cool to have different skin sets in this game, so you can have really, really, really cool skins that really feel different. Not only these funny skins, but also like serious skins that look like they're the default skins, but in a different way, like a shotgun that says, attention, I'm like, yeah, I didn't say funny, so not attention, I'm dangerous or something, don't point at enemies or something, but I mean like a gun that says, like, insert magazine here. It's still somewhat funny. I don't know. You know what I mean. I mean guns that have little details, that have little text. Some details feel realistic, so it feels like a different gun while still using the same model and same animations. When you're talking about animations, with the centered gun position, I think the weapons have slightly different animations. I mean, at least in Doom 2016, I know when you were having the normal shotgun in the centered gun position, and if you're firing it, it was reloading it like in the classic game. Whereas when you had it in the normal gun position on the right hand, or in the default gun position in the right hand, the shotgun was reloaded in the kind of not special way. It simply, yeah, pumped the shotgun. That was it. So I'd like to have an option to have these animations no matter where my gun is placed. I don't know how they solve this in the game. I don't know how easy they can adjust this, but I really, really like to have this option, to have the classic animation also when the gun is not held in the centered weapon position, simply because I want stuff. For DLCs and everything, they could add the classic models. I think the classic models are compatible with these animations. Some of these animations are the same, so why don't give us the classic models from Doom 2016? It would be cool if this was possible, like a 3D skin, so you change the model simply, the view model. It would also be nice to have an option to change the position of the crosshair, just because we can, but not only in the normal way, like in Halo, so it's lowered and centered. It would be cool to have some option to put this crosshair wherever we want it. Even left or right, which is stupid, but I'd like to have this option, if it's possible. I would never use it, but it would be so nice to have it, just for reasons. Because Doom needs this. I'd also like to have an option to switch on the visor, the helmet, so we can see that helmet. I think there was someone who said they could mod this, because the texture is in the game. I don't know if this is possible, but having a visible helmet, it's actually quite nice designed, so having a visible helmet would be probably fun to have, to some certain extent. So that's basically it. Oh, and regarding the levels, give us some open world, give us some co-op, give us maybe some violent rip-off of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's less boring. Just kidding, I never played this game. I don't know if it's boring. If you're a fanboy, then probably it's still boring. I don't know. I've not played it. I don't know if it's good. So I've heard it looks beautiful, and I've watched gameplay and it looked beautiful. Every video of Zelda Breath of the Wild that I wanted to watch was like 3 hours long or something. I wonder why. But in the end, I think it would be really cool to have all of these options in the game. It would be really nice. And in the maps, it would be cool to have these jump and run areas that some people complained about. And I get why they complained about, because they didn't like the jump and running. It would be cool to have them more optional. Maybe some optional paths that are well hidden, that are running outside of the map. So you have one main map, and then there's an alternative way, and this alternative way is made from the platforms. And then I'd like to have situations where I can decide go the platformy way or go the normal way. But with the platforms, I also want to be demons. That there should be demons on the platforms, right? Because platforming and demons are great. But having platforms and demons at the same moment is even greater, right? So I hope this is cool. Yeah. I hope this would be good. So, is there anything to say? Besides of subscribe, like, drop a couple comments. Oh yeah, and just because I want this to be part of the video, I wanted to make a short section with music and gameplay, just because I can for reasons. So please enjoy if possible, and subscribe, like, and you can skip this part or don't.
Los!
Supposed to play, you know what this means. I'll make a cheeseburger from your skin. It's disgusting. I'll make supplements from your organs.
Extraleben erhalten.
That's wrong. This is where I would like to have a slide funk, so we slide around like a Roomba of death.
Maximaler Multiplikator.
Fake archway. Thank you. Favorite
Medaillen Overload.
I'll send you some death. I should start being a live stream again. Like, I don't know if the music is too loud. Or if my voice sounds like from the Doomslayer or from someone who made too much sounds. Wo sind meine Steroide? Dankeschön für dein Herz. Auf Wiedersehen. I love how German actually sounds kind of aggressive. Dankeschön. I like to sound like an American which is my favorite actually. Sir, you are not supposed to live. Where's my score? Where's my score? Open the door, please. Hello? Someone? Someone? Hello? I think we ripped and teared until it was done. I'm so sorry, I screwed that one up.